What's up, dudes? All right, let me go big screen on this. All right. We are going to get into creatures of flight, which includes bats and flying lizards. Who knew? And we will start to develop our creature, our dragon-esque creature for tomorrow, because we're going mythical beast. Could be a dragon, could be a whatever, who knows? All right. So we are going to resume our regularly scheduled cartoon to start the class now that Sir Scott's internet is working, which is awesome.
Keeping my fingers crossed throughout the whole cartoon.
So I'm excited about that because I've been looking forward to water every hair. So we're going to start off with the cartoon, then we're going to get into what we've been doing this month in this series, which is sketching out real life creatures, right? Real life animals, mammals, that kind of thing, and then applying that to our mythical beast, if you will, which I do like those movies. I like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I thought those were pretty fun movies. So to get started, and a shout out before we get into the cartoon, and this is really for Tater Tot because he can nerd out for a second. Ori 2. Did you see? I did not know about that until my son showed it to me and said, apparently that's an awesome movie. And I said, or an awesome video game. And I said, okay. And he showed me more of the Ori first one, and I was quite impressed. So that's all to say we're in this whole creatures to color thing, and that kind of fits in with that. All right, you ready? So Tater Tot, have you tried it? No? Do you know about it?
Not yet, but I've heard about it, so yeah.
So yay. All right. Sir Scott, can we roll the cartoon, please? I do love that film. All right. I would like vanishing fluid and the shrinking stuff because I would like to shrink large things. I would like a miniature giraffe, but that doesn't look like that's happening anytime soon. All right, so let's get into creatures in flight. Now, I said creatures in flight, not necessarily birds, right? Because we have bats. That is a flying lizard. So why not go for that? And then a puffin, an eagle, and a flamingo, as well as a pelican. The reason behind these is there's all kinds of characteristics within these creatures of flight to create our own mythical creatures. So by a raise of hands, physical hands, who has seen Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them? Me.
I've read the book.
You read the book? All right, so you know what I'm talking about. Sophie, Maddie, nobody else. That's fine. All right, so if you've seen that movie, there's all kinds of creatures, and they're really awesome. And just like we've done, like with some sci-fi mashups and those kind of things, we're going to get into mythical creatures. So the basis of all this stuff is how do you exaggerate something or mash something up if you don't know how to draw what the original form is. So we're going to start with a flamingo. You got your sheet of paper. We all have our sheet of paper. We all have something to draw with. I'm just straight up rocking the pencil. All right. So we're going to start with a flamingo. Now, remember, this is all just breaking things down into basic shapes, right? So if we take a look at, I'll zoom in a little bit here. We take a look at our flamingo in basic shapes. The head is basically a circle, right? And then we kind of have a rectangle and a triangle, and then the body is kind of like an oval, and then we've got these long spindly legs. So what I'm going to do is just start with a circle up here, and then I've got a beak that comes off my circle like so, and then it kind of does a downturn. So I've got like a rectangle and then a triangle. Scott, is that easy to see or hard to see?
I think it's easy to see.
Okay. All right. We'll just move in just a little bit. All right. So there we have this part. And then we have the neck, right? Which is essentially just a long, curvy shape. Now, usually when I'm sketching, like I'm not using my wrist too much. I'm still using my elbow and a little bit of my shoulder so that my movement is smooth and fluid. And then I've got this big piece right here, which is like an oval, like so. And now this bird's neck, and if you've ever seen flamingos, especially after they've been feeding on shrimp and they're super pink, they are quite fantastic looking creatures. All right, so I've got where my legs come down here. And hold on one second. There we go. So what happens when a phone call comes in?
Oh, it's sideways.
Sideways. All right. There we go. All right. So I've got this piece, right? General shapes. So all I'm working with right here is general shapes. And then you can see as my legs come down, they're just thin. This one kind of kicks out that way. Just thin rectangles. And then I might do like a circle for where the knee joints as they were are. Right? And come down like that. Piece of cake. I'm not even worried about the feet right now. Now, getting into details, Flamingo has this wild looking, almost like a wig of feather hair on its back, which are its wings. And notice how the neck comes underneath and stops right about here. So right here is where that neck stops, which is right where the leg joint is. So I'm going to pop that piece up a little bit here. This right here also comes in and makes a jog. This is almost one piece right here. Yeah, their anatomy doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it? Nope, not really. I mean, like, how does this work right here? How does this big toupee of feathers work? I don't know. So I am going to get my general shapes in and define it just a little bit more. I got one like random feather sticking out. All right, and then from here I can start to add a little bit more detail. So this is my basic shape, right? We've got all that down. And now I'm gonna go up here. So the eyes sit, if I were to like draw my circle right here, his eyes sit a little bit higher than halfway, kind of in the middle. And then that trails down to his beak. So there's like a white space around his eye. And then we'll get that nice color in. To look at how the beak goes up, it's actually, here's the line for it. It looks kind of weird, but it goes like so. All right. And then I'm going to finish my shape off up here. I might just shade just gently. Right, there's the head to my flamingo. Notice too, like there is a line here. I'll erase this so you can see it. You can see that line that comes through. So it's not just a head that connects directly to the neck. There is kind of a jaw line, if you were, to this bird. All right. Dodos are cool. So I'll finish off my neck here. And then for texture on feathers, it's kind of like hair. Notice just how the shapes move. So I've got feathers that move like this way, right? And I would start with lines. Mine look a little messy at the moment, but I would start with lines. And then you can start to add more individual feathers in. I can't see too much detail here, but it's a weird looking bird. All right. Although if you've seen The Lion King, they are very pretty when they fly. Or so the animated movie shows me. Okay. And I'm going to stop right about there. All right. So my flamingo. I'm not even worried about shading or anything like that. Now let's get into, we're going to go down the list here, and then I'm going to move over to show the other guys. So we're going to go puffin. Puffins do fly. Think of them like porgs, which Chewbacca says are quite tasty. So in a porg, not porg, in a puffin, look at our basic shapes. The head here, again, we're kind of starting with a circle and then a triangle for the beak. So it's just looking at basic shapes and how that works. And then even this, his body here, it's kind of rectangular, like a rounded rectangle a bit. So I'm going to go in and start with his head and get that beak in there like that, right? Super easy. The neck that comes down for the moment is just, I'm just going to let it sit right there. And then here's where I'm going to take my rectangle. So it's not a rectangle that's perfect straight up and down. It's kind of at an angle a little bit. Notice how far his chest comes out, right? It's almost to where his beak is. So if I had a line going down here, I'd go just to the inside of that. Like so. All right, I'm going to shorten that up just a little bit. And I've got the feet and the legs that come off, again, like almost kind of like trapezoids. There's my $5 word for today. And then if I'm looking at how far down in this, if I were to split this rectangle into thirds like this, my first third is about where that wing formation comes out, right? Right about there. And then you've got his tail. All right, so from this, now that I've got all my basics in, I can go ahead and start to fill in some of the finer details around, right? Like notice too, like I've got the head shape isn't a perfect circle. It's a little flatter on top. It's good to notice small details like this, especially as you create your own mythical creature, because you can see that not everything is necessarily a perfect circle or a perfect rectangle, but there's some play with it, like a flat spot. All right. And this dude's eyes are kind of right in the middle. Like so. And then look at how this white part of his face, he's got like a little teardrop there by his beak. Looks like a guitar pick. All right, so go ahead and start to add the finer details in of your puffin. And I will do the same. I'm just using a regular pencil. All right, get those finer little details. I'm not going to shade anything right now, but you can even see, like, look at that line where his wing is and the feathers. All right, and there's layered feathers. So there's a line of feathers that come in here, and then there's a line of feathers underneath. And then almost further for the legs. All right, and there is my puffin. All right, and I'm not going to shade, like I said, any of it. Well, yes, I am. I lied. I'm going to just shade a little bit to show the distinction between the black and white parts. There we go. Okay. Why does yours look like a dying squirrel? I don't know, but I am very interested to see how yours came out with here, if you don't mind showing in a little bit. All right, so there's our puffin, right? And now let's move up to the flying lizard, who I love seeing these things fly. It's like a flying squirrel. I almost put a flying squirrel on our little mashup. All right, so this is more of where we're not getting a lot of definition in the face. So can you get the shape of the body down? And if you look at the shape of the body all the way to the tail, it's almost like we got one triangle here. So if I'm gonna, this guy's gonna be a little small, but if I'm doing this up and it's got a curve to it, so the lizard's got a curve, and if I do, it's like a banana pepper. Who likes banana peppers? I love banana peppers. This reminds me of a banana pepper. All right, and then if you look at his head, it's like a rectangle, and it's off center a bit. So I'm gonna put in, I'm trying a lizard. So I'm gonna just do a rectangle, and then I've got his little arms. Has anybody ever seen Fern Gully? Somebody, please. Am I the only one? Scott, have you seen Fern Gully?
Yes, but I don't remember it that much.
Okay,
Sorry.
fine. It's just me. Robin Williams. It was the first time I was introduced to Robin Williams as a cartoon character. All right, so I've got his arms that are stretched out. I'm not going to have enough room here for all of his body. Thank you. I mean, he's got a pretty dramatic silhouette pose. So we're just going to get his legs down there like this. His tail is going to go off for me. That's okay. And then I'm going to get his wings in. And like look at the little just nuances, right? It's not a perfect half circle. So you want to get those little nuances in there. Nuance, the $3 word for today. All right. There we go. And there's the basis for my flying lizard. So from here, I'll be able to, he's got these wicked looking things on the side of his head. From here, I'll be able to take that shape and go ahead and start to fill in some of the details. Now, I'm not going to put in necessarily all little details of this. Today's words all are about money. And depending on how I feel, I'll start doing it as the count, because the count's just awesome. Money, I know. Okay. My flying lizard looks like the all right. The whole idea is to, especially if you've never drawn a flying lizard before, is just practice. I'm going to get all Bob Ross on you. It's all practice. Happy little accidents. Do you know Bob Ross didn't actually like his fro? His producer or whatever told him, like, you should totally keep that. Bob Ross was from the Air Force. There's a fun fact for you kids. Bob Ross was in the Air Force. Who knew? You would have never thought it. All right. So I've got my lizard. I've got the line that kind of comes down a little bit here. He actually has it's almost like I forget what they call it on an airplane, but he's got a fin underneath his body, and it's right here. I know it's kind of hard to see on the camera. Honey, you can't climb up here right now. And then we're going to get his body in there. And even, I like to look at the little lines and the little bumps. where his shoulders are and stuff like that, because it gives it character. All right. So you can kind of see how that goes. I'm not putting on video game for you right now. All right, same thing over here with this leg. Again, pay attention to tiny, like even like little spikes on his tail. And then if you notice, he has what look like little veins that run out, and those veins kind of connect to these pieces right here. Almost perfectly. So if I were to do this, this would make sense a little bit more with the bumps, or as you can see in his wings. So it's not a perfect half circle. And then I'll do a little bit of patterning in his wings. There we go. There we go. Just doing it fast. Looks a little hokey. All right. So flying lizard. Key features of the flying lizard. Right here are the dude's bat wings. Essentially Batman style wings that are connected to his arms, right? And these little kind of horns coming off the side of his head. All right. Okay. The lizard. What? Nobody, not even Scott? My flying lizard looks like a guy. Okay. Now let's get into bats. Here's the bat. Can you see that? You can't see that. Let's go up a little bit. All right. So here's my bat. Quite ferocious looking. His mouth is open. Have you ever gone to the bats at the zoo and you go into the bat enclosure and they're all flying freely and they buzz your head? I've had that happen before. Thankfully, I don't have enough hair so they can't get caught in it. So if you take a look at a bat, if I'm looking at kind of the base right here, it's a circle like so. And then off that, hold on, buddy. Off that main circle is big old ears. I do say draw this dude. Dude is like my general term. I call my mom dude. So it's just a general term. All right. So I've got big old, he's got huge ears. And if you notice, they connect pretty far down on his head. Like so, not right now. She doesn't have to. All right. So I've got kind of a bat wings up here, his mouth. All I'm going to do to show the mouth is like a little trapezoid right there. Okay. And then his eyes sit just to the side. As a matter of fact, they sit up a little higher. His mouth sits down a little further. There we go. All right. This boy's hungry. He's coming in for the kill. Now, in the rest, if you look at how his back comes up, what I'm going to do is just do another circle that goes just above this. Like so, right? That's this part of his back. And then the main part is going to be a circle that comes off here. Like this. So we've got 3 circles. Now, obviously, there's a flat spot here. So just because I have the circle doesn't mean the whole thing's going to be a circle. But I have these pieces. And then we have the wings. Easiest way for the wings, I'm looking at if I just kind of chop this right here. Easy shapes. So start with rectangles, right? They go up a bit. And then his wings go out. I'm not going to have enough room on my page to do the whole thing, and that's all right. And I'm just starting with basic lines, basic line construction. Stop. Give it back. All right, and then underneath, I've got big lines that kind of swing like this. Same thing on this side, and I'm just doing it real light. You need to go over there and stop. All right. There we go. Again, general shapes. Just keep them general. So my bat looks like a weird construction thing, right? It's fairly mechanical in how it looks right now. So I am going to now clean this up and take a look at my finer details and start to put those in. Stop. Sit down. Okay. All right. So there's this. Notice too, like as I get up to this part of his wing, got a little bump here. And this line's going to come up, and right about in the middle there, I've got a line that comes down. It doesn't connect to this, which kind of looks a little awkward, but I think that's where his little arm claws are. Now I'm going to do the same thing down here. There we go. And just like that, we've got kind of a basic wing down. Is anybody else losing their minds or is this giving you a headache? We're almost to our creatures. Almost to our creatures. Okay, so I'm going to go a little quicker on the bat. Again, I got this piece that comes up, this little hook. Like so. Kind of reminds me of like a wizard's wand, this little piece. And up. And then I'm just going to really fast do some ears. Notice too, there's two pieces to the ear. There's this piece right here, which is that outside rim, and then the inside. All right. Same thing there. I'm not really on this spiky hair thing. But we got some nostrils, we got some fangs. And down. There we go. That's my scary looking bat. Yay. It's about as much time as I got for it. All right. So in flight, swooping down, someone's going to get some blood drawn. Let's move to the Pelican. I'm going to scoop this over. All right. Key features on a Pelican. Obviously, the big beak, right? That's kind of like the leading feature. So we're going to look at how we break this down. There's a circle, there's a triangle. So circle, triangle. You've got a neck that comes down like here. This is a triangle at the base. So I'm just going to do a triangle, and then look at how this slopes over. It's all like one big, I thought flamingos had some odd, right? So kind of like there, I've got the basics down. Now, all I'm going to do right now is I'm going to concentrate on his head, and then we're going to move to the bald eagle, and then we only have like 20 minutes left, so then we can get into our mythical beasts. So I've got an eye. Look at, I find this interesting here because it looks like this whole part is part of his beak.
And the photo is a little off camera.
There we go.
Perfect. Thanks.
There we go. Notice how this piece underneath comes down. And then you have the beak. And the top part to the beak, which comes just inside the circle.
Just raised your hand.
Who did?
Cat?
Yes, Cat. You can unmute yourself if you want. All right, there's the top part of my beak. All right, if you get a chance, Cat, go ahead and unmute yourself.
I'm not sure if our connection is working.
Okay. All right. So there is my pelican. I'm gonna rough in this feather part right here. The wing actually connects. And then we have the back. There's my pelican. All right. Let's get into the eagle. So what I love about the eagle is the head, the giant wingspan on this guy, and the beak. So in that eagle shape, how's this? Let's get into the eagle shape. So I like, again, we're just breaking down into simple forms. So if I'm looking at this as a triangle, I'm looking at this piece right here as one.
Can't see it.
Which part?
Your drawing is a little off camera.
Drawing?
There
All
you
right.
go.
So I've got my basic triangular shape, which is this right here. Okay. And then I've got the beak here, which is another triangle. So if I'm going to break his head down real easy, it's just two triangles. And then I'm going to move this over. I'll move this up a little bit. So I've got this part of his body, which is just a shape like this. And it hangs down, which this looks more like a weird looking fortune cookie than it does an eagle at the moment. But again, basic shapes. I've got this piece too here on the inside, on the outside. That's his other leg. And then I've got the claws. And now for the claws, all I'm going to do right now is just draw rectangles. That's it. So that lets me know where the claws are. I'm going to move let's see if all right. So in his wings, there's a nice arcing kind of takes place right about here. I'm going to keep it very light. I'm going to notice that from this part of his head and about the middle of his body is just a real easy shape. This is just the outside. I haven't put any detail in yet. And this part of the wing, hold on one second. All right. So talons, there you go. Talons, that's what I was thinking. And now this wing here is going to overlap. And it's going to come up to about here. I'm going to lose space, but you can see, and it goes up like so. And then we've got the tail. So general shapes. This doesn't look at all like an eagle at the moment, right? Looks totally whacked. Yes, talons do resemble bony hands. You are correct. Like Smithers from, or no, not Smithers, Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. All right, now that I have everything kind of mapped out in basic loose shapes, we'll go in for the detail. So I'm going to concentrate on the head and just give myself a minute here for the head. And notice that if I create a shape like almost from where the wing meets, I'm going to create what? Okay, I'll take a half, like a circular shape there. It kind of gives me some dimension. And for the beak, so I've got a shape that comes down like this. So if I look at this part of my line, it goes right through the top of his head. All right. And then the beak comes off of that. Like so. And then you got those wicked eagle eyes. Okay. So how's this? How's everybody's eagle look so far? I'm not going to do any feathers yet. Well, do the outline to feathers. There we go. So the start of my eagle head. Dude, don't worry about how good or bad it is. Mine kind of looks like a duck wearing boots. Well, at the moment, mine looks like a origami gone wrong. So there you go. Whole idea is to practice in this. All right, so we've got our mythical creatures down, our actual animals. And here's the layout, right? So here's my sketches on these animals. Now, the idea, right, is to pick between two of these at least and start to combine elements to make your mythical creature. So maybe it's a griffin, right? A griffin would kind of have like the beak of an eagle, maybe the wings of an eagle, and has more of a body like a lion. So you can import some other elements if you want to. But I'm going to start with my mythical creature. Am I going to be able to ride is the key. So this is where you start to blend. So take some elements of at least two of these guys and build out your mythical creature. I'm going to start with, I think I'm going to go with flamingo head because the beak looks just, as Tater Tot quite eloquently put it, flamingos are weird. You can exaggerate your features a little bit. So it doesn't have to, like, I'm going by the beak, and the whole idea is to capture the essence of that in your mythical creature. So you can exaggerate some features a bit, like on an eagle wingspan, maybe it's a huge eagle wingspan. All right. I gave you an idea. You're going to mix Batman and a porg. Please do. Scott is going to mix Batman and a porg. And keep in mind that, I think these creatures have some very cool features. So make sure you grab as many of those cool features as you can to help accentuate the character and personality of your creature. All right. I'm going to use some spiky hair, like a bit off the Pelican. And yeah. All right. Now comes the true test. What other pieces of these animals am I going to mash up? I think I almost want the body style of a porg. I keep saying porg. Puffin. Body style of a puffin. which remember is that kind of rectangular shape. And I like the old people talon bony fingers of an eagle. So I'm going to add these elements to it. So my flamingo is going to have flamingo head, shorter neck. And I think I'm going to like blend some coloring of the penguin or the puffin. Like so. Puffin's almost like they have like a cheaper suit than the penguin did. Maybe they went to the discount suit, the discount place, got a discount tux. All right, let's throw some people off here. And go bat wings. Haha, I'm not ripping you off, Scott. I'm putting bat wings on a puffin slash flamingo, so it's totally not the same thing. Keep in mind, like taking those little elements of your creatures and putting them in here in your own creature. I'm going to, this animal is not going to make any sense at all. And that's okay. So I'm going to give it long, spindly legs, like the flamingo. This is not a very, what's what I'm looking for, aerodynamic bird or creature of flight. And let's go for that big, it's going to need a big tail, like a rudder. All right, so as I'm pulling mine, so this has got to go off the top here. As I'm pulling mine together, what elements did you use? You can unmute yourself. You don't even have to show it yet, but what elements did you use in your drawing wings are like drawing eyes. You draw one, it's like the best. Yes. And then you have to draw the other one. And then you cry a little because it doesn't totally turn out like you want it to. I totally understand that reference. All right. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody's creatures. Your mythical creature. Tomorrow we're going to get into color and different ways to accentuate, especially in background, creating kind of like eerie tones a bit. So what color palette would give us that eerie tone? I'm going to take a page out of that Ori video game that I'm not obsessed with it, but I do enjoy it. All right, there's this piece here. Dark desaturated colors. Yes, you could do dark desaturated colors. All right. So I've got my weird looking, here, we'll give him. And again, use your drawings as a reference. You try to make something look like a swan. All right, swans work. I'm gonna go back and reference my eagle tail because this one didn't turn out exactly like I wanted it to. And I wanna kind of get an idea for off the real life bird. All right. Maybe. There we go. Okay, there's my mythical creature on some sort of branch. All right, who wants to show? Somebody's got to show me some stuff here. I can't be the only one. No idea what that was, but that probably wasn't a bird. Okay, so here's mine. Let's go for yours. Who's up? Raise a hands. Somebody help me out. Can I just call on somebody? Can I start with Liliana and Heather Rose? Oh, didn't think I was going to do that, but I did. All right, ladies.
Here's mine.
Oh, wait. No, that looks cool.
That's cool.
I love that. That actually looks very cute. Like I would want that as a pet. Nice. I dig that, man. Way to go. Oh, way to go on the mashup. And it looks like it's striking a pose, like very dramatic. Very cool. Nice job, ladies. All
Tater
right.
tot?
Tater tot.
It's just a rough sketch right now, but I'm really proud of this one. The
Ooh.
wing there.
Oh, well, I totally feel you on the wings, right? Because then you get frustrated. So I think that came out great. And do you have a puffin beak on that?
Yeah, I really like the way the puffin beak looked because it was very blocky and like rounded off. So yeah.
Absolutely. Very cool, man. I dig that. All right. Who wants to? Let's start randomly selecting people. Evie. Oh, she didn't think I was going to go there first. And then Maddie, we're going to go to you after that. All right, you haven't done yours yet. Okay, Maddie. Ready? Pressure's on.
Well, basically, I tried to make a Tuffin / Flamingo, but it looks like a really tall squirrel.
I don't know. I see the puffin and the flamingo. Like I see the whole thing. I don't get squirrel off that.
Maybe it's just my eyes, but I'm not that proud of it, but
Okay. I actually think it looks pretty cool, man. I thought you got some good elements down. I like the fact that you gave a short-legged puffin gigantic long legs. That's awesome. It is now tall enough to ride the rides at Disney World because it has bigger legs. So, Maddie, your creature is very happy. All right, rolling around the table. Anybody else want to go? I could just call it. Sophie, do you have one done? Ethan, Armin. Sophie disappeared on me. She's like, absolutely not. All right, what about Ethan? Ethan, do you have something? Nice, look at that. Way to go on the mashup, man. I dig it. Very cool. Great job. Okay. Sophie, don't disappear on me. Do you have one done? She did it again.
She disappeared.
Just, you know what it reminds me of? What show was it where like I forget what sitcom or whatnot, and the person just kind of like fades below every time and like does the elevator thing. All right, I'll give everybody like one more option. If you'd like to show, now would be the time. If not, no big deal. I'm going to call it once, call it twice. All right, no big deal. So you've got your mashup creature, right? And our mythical creature. I'm going to try, maybe, no, I don't even think I'm going to draw him a little smaller. I think I'm going to keep it like this because tomorrow I'm going to add a little bit of background element to it. And we're going to bring out some like mythical colors in this. Things that glow, maybe, you know, like getting into darker tones versus lighter tones and how that accentuates features. So we're going to think about the color of our mythical creature and what they're capable of, right? So glowing eyes, glowing wings, I have no idea. We'll figure that out tomorrow. So make sure you keep a hold of this. I'm not going to sign it until I'm done. And then you've got your sketches over here and my wicked origami eagle that's going to have to be finished. So tomorrow will be color. I'm looking forward to that. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure as always to see you. Thank you guys for jumping in this afternoon. And you all have a wonderful evening, and I will catch you tomorrow. Later, dudes.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Later, dudes.